So Gooseworx just confirmed that the previous sneak peek about Jax was fake, but now she posted the real one and deleted it right away. And I just want to say that maybe many of you don't know, but Gooseworx has a bluesky account where she posted, "People always be posting fake screenshots of Jax from episode 7, saying I posted it and immediately deleted it. But I don't think I would do that. I'd post a real screenshot, not a fake one. Get it right." And then this photo of Jax, and honestly this is way more disturbing than anything we could have imagined. So what we're looking at here is Jax in what appears to be a dark room, and the first thing that hits me is how completely broken he looks. Like, we saw him have a panic attack in episode 6, and we also saw him during his fight with Pomni, where he was clearly struggling, but this is different. This is Jax looking absolutely shattered in a way that makes me think whatever happened after episode 6 really destroyed him emotionally, and it honestly feels so weird seeing him this broken, meaning that everything that went down with Pomni really hurt him more than he was letting on. But what's interesting about this image is that it seems like Jax could be in his room, which would make perfect sense since Gooseworx already confirmed that we're going to see Jax's room in one of the upcoming episodes, so maybe possibly the next one. And if that's the case, then maybe this is him finally being alone with his thoughts after everything that went down with Pomni, and maybe that's when all the stuff he's been repressing finally caught up to him. But maybe it's also possible that this isn't actually Jax's room at all, but Ribbit's room. And I know that sounds kinda crazy, but think about it. Jax literally said in episode 1 that he has keys to everyone's room, so technically he could go anywhere he wants. And maybe after his breakdown with Pomni and everything that happened in episode 6, he went back to Ribbit's room to confront whatever memories he's been avoiding, which would explain why he looks so completely destroyed in this image. Because we saw how he was after just looking at the crossed out pictures of Kaufman and Ribbit on their doors. It clearly looked like those brought back some memories, so yeah, I think it's possible that he could go into one of their rooms and just stay there for a while he gathers himself. And when Michael Kovac, Jax's voice actor, said that the next episode is gonna tear the fan base apart, we could think that it's gonna be about Jax, but now I think this confirms it. And honestly, I don't think that we're gonna see Jax being depressed throughout the whole episode, maybe just a little bit where his facade drops and we get to see this side of him. But we have to remember that he's not a good person. And if he realizes that he's acting soft, he's probably gonna go crazy afterwards and let out his frustration on the others. Cause think about it this way, Jax's whole thing is that he can't handle vulnerability, and episode 6 already showed us what happens when someone tries to get close to him. We literally saw him dissociating and pushing Pomni away, but what if episode 7 is where we see what happens after that breakdown? Maybe this screenshot is from the beginning of the episode where he's processing everything, but then he snaps back to his usual cruel self, except this time it's gonna be way worse than anything we've seen before. But maybe it's also possible that the whole next episode is gonna be Jax's flashback. Like, maybe he goes to his or Ribbit's room after everything that happened and his memories flood him. Remember how he said that Pomni doesn't know how the characters were before they abstracted, and maybe he remembers back how Ribbit pushed him away the same way he did with Pomni. And that would be absolutely devastating to watch, because what if we find out that Jax used to be the one trying to help people and form connections, and Ribbit was the one pushing everyone away and being cruel? And maybe that's how Jax learned this behavior in the first place. Like, maybe Ribbit was his friend, but Ribbit was going through his own psychological breakdown and started treating Jax the exact same way that Jax now treats everyone else. And if that's true, then maybe when Jax said that Ribbit became insufferable before abstracting, he wasn't talking about Ribbit being depressed. He was talking about Ribbit becoming cruel and manipulative and using the same defense mechanisms that Jax uses now. And maybe watching his friend turn into this horrible person is what broke Jax and made him think that this is just what happens to people in the circus. They become monsters to protect themselves. But what's really scary about this theory is that if Jax is sitting there remembering how Ribbit treated him, and then he's thinking about how he just did the same thing to Pomni, then maybe he's realizing that he's become the person who destroyed his friend, and that could be what pushes him over the edge completely. Because now he knows that he's not just hurting other people, he's literally repeating the cycle that ruined his own life. But this would also connect to what Ashley, Zubo's voice actor, confirmed about finally seeing Ribbit as an actual character. Because if episode 7 is gonna be Jax's flashback episode, then we're gonna see what their relationship was actually like, and maybe it's not gonna be the tragic friendship that everyone's been assuming. Maybe it's gonna be this toxic dynamic where Ribbit was slowly becoming more and more cruel cruel as a defense mechanism, and Jax was desperately trying to save him but couldn't. And maybe that's also why Gooseworx said that episode 7 had multiple rewrites, cause showing that kind of psychological complexity where someone becomes abusive because they were abused, and then they create another abuser who continues the cycle. That's incredibly difficult to portray without making it seem like you're excusing anyone's behavior or oversimplifying trauma responses. But what's interesting is that if this is really what episode 7 is about, then maybe the reason fans are gonna feel betrayed isn't because Jax does something unforgivably cruel, but because we're going to realize that his cruelty comes from a place of genuine trauma, and some fans won't be able to handle that complexity, because they want him to be either purely evil or purely sympathetic, not this complicated person who was shaped by his experiences but is still responsible for his actions. And honestly, this would explain why Gooseworx said that episode 7 is gonna piss off the right people, because if we see that Jax's behavior is part of this cycle of abuse that started with Ribbit, then fans who have been completely demonizing Jax might have to confront the fact that trauma can create these patterns, while fans who have been defending him might have to accept that understanding his trauma doesn't excuse what he's done to other people. But the really terrifying part of this theory is that if Jax is remembering how Ribbit's psychological breakdown progressed and he's seeing the parallels of his own current state, then maybe he realizes that he's been following the exact same path that led to Ribbit's abstraction, and maybe that's what causes him to completely lose it, because now he knows that he's not just gonna hurt other people, he's probably gonna abstract too, just like his friend did. And maybe that's why episode 7 had to be split from episode 8, because if we're gonna see Jax's entire psychological breakdown play out through flashbacks and present-day realizations, then there's way too much emotional content to fit into one episode, and maybe episode 8 is gonna be about the aftermath of Jax finally understanding the full scope of what he's become and what he's lost. And of course, we can hope that he's not gonna abstract, because we have a Jolly Joker character, Kinger, who has been basically saving everyone from spiraling too hard, and maybe there is a chance that he could go and talk to Jax. But if we really are going to see a flashback episode without an adventure, then I don't really see how that could play out. Maybe if Pomni goes on to check on him first after everything happened, because Pomni was the only one who noticed that Jax was missing throughout the majority of the award show, and she's caring enough that she would go up to him even despite everything, so maybe she's gonna be the one who finds Jax being broken down, and she could send Kinger in there with him to try to talk to him, because he'd probably reject Pomni if she were trying to talk to him, but maybe he wouldn't expect anything serious from Kinger, and he could let him be there with him. Obviously, I'm just theorizing here, because seeing Jax abstract would be heartbreaking, despite how his character was, because losing someone from the main cast which shook up the whole show. So yeah, maybe they are not going to play that card, or maybe they will, and we get to see a key character abstracting real time and how it shakes up the lives of the others. Because okay, maybe they hate Jax, but I'm sure that they would still be sad if they saw him abstracting. But yeah, we will see, hopefully sooner than later. But one thing's for sure though, the upcoming Comic Cons at the end of September and beginning of October are going to be generous to us, because Glitch confirmed that we're going to see more sneak peeks, so we just have to hang in there until then. But let me know what you think about all these updates and theories down in the comments. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.